Hello and welcome to Die Rollin. I'm the ever-excitable Adam, and today I'm playing Sleeping Gods. So join me at the table.
Captain Sophie Odessa, April 27th, 1929. After 8 years of brooding silence, I received a telegram from my father. Taken ill, come soon. I set out with the crew on the Manticore with a stoic resolve to make it to New York. We were 3 days out of Hong Kong when we got caught in the worst storm I'd ever seen. When the sky finally cleared, we found ourselves in strange waters. The horizon was hazy, the only visible landmark a tall rock sticking out of the water nearby. Atop it sat a woman with a nest of grey hair, waving a 10-foot fishing pole through the muggy air. "Welcome to the wandering sea," she said. "You may think you are dreaming, but you are not the ones who sleep. The gods of these seas are trapped in a sleep as deep and binding as death. Their power over this world is dormant, chained by ungrateful mortals, but they have brought you here from a distant world to help them awaken. You must do this if you wish to return home." "The gods?" I asked. "Who else?" the woman cackled. "You must seek their totems hidden through this archipelago. With enough totems, you may wake the gods and they may send you home, a reward for your service. Many have perished trying. You will also likely die, but good luck." I asked where we might find the nearest port, but the woman vanished. We turned north as night fell, 2 days from the journey and the alien world in which we now found ourselves. We did not notice the dark, narrow ship pursuing us until it was too late. Surprised and terrified screams erupted from the crew as bull-headed men poured onto our deck. The monster's eyes burned with a hellish flame, and their language was a guttural fit of barking and braying. There was little we could do. They took the ship, and we prayed for mercy with bound hands and bruised heads.
Well, it's not going so well for the crew of the Manticore. So let's go through each of our crew members. Now, I'm going through the tutorial here, so I do not know what a lot of these things mean, but let's introduce you to these guys. So we have Captain Sophie Odessa from New York. Sophie's father captained a small cargo ship that ran from New York to Boston. She spent much of her childhood watching the busy eastern coast and waving at passing fishing boats. At night, while her Tunisian mother brushed her hair, her Greek father told her the ancient legends from his home country. Nightmares of screaming sirens, envious gods, and sea monsters plagued her for years. At 17, her father chose her fiancé and she ran away, joining the crew of a tramp steamer. After years of shrewd trading and risky investments, she amassed a small fortune and bought her own ship. Most of the old sailors left, unwilling to serve under a woman. Captain Odessa hired a new crew, and now she's free to sail where she wishes. Oh, you go, girl. Next, we have Rafael Vieira from New York. Rafael's Portuguese parents immigrated to New York with empty pockets and broken shoes. Now they run a successful vineyard, but Rafael struggled to find a place in it with 6 older brothers. Rafael's father banished him after one too many rows with his oldest brother that left both with broken faces. An old coal train took Rafael to New York, where he worked on the docks in his early 20s. He hasn't spoken to anyone in his family for years except his mother, to whom he writes dutifully every Sunday. She even sends a reply once or twice a year. Oh, poor old Raphael. Laurent Lapointe. Laurent grew up sailing on... And he's from Quebec City. What? Laurent Lapointe grew up sailing on the frigid northern seas of Canada. Each wrinkle and grey hair a near-death experience on a whaling ship or a fishing barge. Growing tired of the endless cold weather and a bitter cold marriage, he ventured to warmer waters in Chesapeake Bay. My pronunciation of these things is terrible. Chesapeake Bay, with only his fishing gear and the clothes on his back. He'll sail with anyone as long as they let him fish. Gregory Little from Los Angeles. Gregory's smirk is like an old, comfortable jacket, and he rarely travels without it. He wears it to hide the deep pain inside. Gregory had a quiet life in Los Angeles, treating broken bones and stitching cuts until his only daughter became ill. He fought night and day for her, but it wasn't enough. Shortly after her death, he ran to the harbor and climbed aboard the first ship he could see. He hasn't returned to California since. Oh, man, these guys. Audrey Williams from Liverpool. Audrey Williams Audrey wears oil stains and coal dust with pride. The sound of a thrumming engine puts her at ease. Her father taught her the trade. She couldn't stay home with a mother who died in the influenza epidemic, so she spent her childhood running through the iron bellies of boiler rooms, and her father turned up the triple expansion engines on dock steamships. She joined Captain Odessa's crew in her late teens, eager to see the world. She keeps a rabbit foot in her pocket and visits graveyards at every port where mother whispers to her, sometimes. Creepy. Wow. Next we have Marco Reyes from Veracruz. Marco hopes God is with him, but he isn't certain anymore. He joined the church as a young man, eager to avoid his father's life of crushing farm labour. But soon after he joined, God spoke to him. His city was changing and sin was taking the hearts of the people. The church was corrupt, keeping money from the poor to line the pockets of Marco's superiors. So Marco started redistributing it to the poor, where it belonged. When his bishop discovered what Marco was doing, he called the police. Marco fled to the docks and joined Captain Odessa's crew before they could find him. Kanan Sharma from Chennai. Kanan served in the army of India. His brothers convinced him it was a good way to earn money for his young family. Years later, after the horrors of the Great War, Kanan only feels peaceful at sea. He watched each of his brothers die on the battlefield, and he can't stifle the guilt at being the only one to make it home again. He joined Captain Odessa a few years ago, hoping to hide from painful memories and horrifying visions. And finally, we have Kasumi Oshima from Osaka. Kasumi found her grandfather's samurai weapons and armor in the attic long after they were banned. After her relentless pestering, he trained her, discovering a rebellious flame hidden beneath her serene eyes. The night her grandfather died, Kasumi lost the only person that knew her beyond the obedient facade she'd always worn at school and at home. She left quietly that same night, her grandfather's sword hidden in her pack, catching a ship to New York, eager to prove herself in a dangerous world. So that is the crew of the Manticore. You awaken on cold dirt. Most of your crew lie next to you, bound with the same crude rope that bites at your wrists and ankles. Your body aches and your clothes drip with dew, but there are no guards in sight. There are sharp rocks nearby. So I can choose to cut the rope bindings on the nearby rocks, or wriggle free of the rope bindings. So we need a cunning 5 to cut the rope, or a strength 5 to wriggle free. And our cunning is a little wolf symbol there. So do you know what? We're going to choose 2 people to help us with this. So we're going to place a fatigue on both of these people. So Sophie Odessa and Kasumi, they're both going to have a go at this. So what we're going to do is, we've currently got 2 symbols. So I'm now going to shuffle this deck and draw the top card from this. And it has to be 3 or more to succeed. And it's a 1, so they fail. So we're going to give 2 damage to Odessa and 1 damage to Kasumi. Because the fail thing, the rock cuts the rope, but also your skin. Now free, you peer outside of the wooden hut. Dark pines tower overhead. Near the edge of the brush sits a rough cage made of wooden slats. The door is fastened shut with a mechanism attached to a nearby tree. Inside, a woman lies on her back, her eyes closed. "We should get her out," says Kasumi. "We don't have time," says Raphael. "Can I have a say?" The woman in the cage opens her eyes and sits up. "Name's Mac. I'd greatly appreciate some help." You crack open the crude lock with a rock. As soon as you break her out, you hear a sudden snarl behind you. 2 bull-headed monsters emerge from the woods and charge. So, we've just found Mac, Mara Johnson. We'll find out about her in a moment. First, let's get to some combat. So, we've got a Mythen Brute and a Mythen Guard there. We also have 4 combat cubes that we can use to choose who's going to be fighting. And everyone has their own synergy token I've just added to them. So, we're going to start off with Kasumi. So Kasumi is going to try to attack them. Now, she has got an accuracy of 2. They have a defense of 5. So we basically got to get over that. So we get a 5. So add that 5 to her 2, which is a 7, which means we managed to attack. And we hit. So we're going to be placing damage cubes. Well, they're not cubes. They're actually little blood droplets. But we get a 3 for this. So we get to place 3 of these. So we're going to place 1 on the arm of Mythic Guard there. What it means is it's taken off one of his kind of hit points, but it also reduces one of the damage he gives. We're also going to put one on his head to reduce some more damage. And then we're going to go on the arm there. Some splash damage to the Myth and Brute there. And because we've gone this little synergy token there, that symbol, we get to give her synergy token to someone else. So she's going to give that to Mac. Now the bad guys get to do a counter attack. So she's got a block of 0. It's going to do 3 damage plus any uncovered damage on there, but unfortunately for him, so she's taken 3 damage. She is not doing too hot. Okay, so Mac's got some assistance off there, so she's going to attack next. And we're attacking this Myth and Brute there. We got a 4 plus 4, so that's 8. Which gets over his 6 there. And she'd normally do 2 damage, but we've got this here, so that's actually going to be doing 3 damage, which is enough to kill the Brute. And we got a synergy token, so we get to place Mac's synergy token on someone else. So we'll go for Odessa. Ooh, although Odessa, if she fails this, she's going to take enough damage to knock her out. So do I go with someone else, maybe? Yeah, do you know what? We're going to go for Raphael. So Raphael's going. He's got an accuracy of 3. We need to get 2 or more with this. And we get 2. So he's going to place the 2 damage that he does. He had an additional 2 to his accuracy. So actually he didn't need to get anything more. So body there, mouth there. And we've defeated them. You head down the path to a beach and the crew mutters relieved oaths at the sight of your ship, the Manticore, anchored nearby. When you climb aboard, you find Gloria, the ship's purser, tied up on the quarterdeck. "What a lovely trip this has been," she says with a smirk. Mac thanks you for saving her and explains that the gods brought her here as well. "I'm from the States, Atlanta originally, but I've been lost for 15 years, she says. "I tried to get home, gave up for a while, then tried again. I'm willing to join you, but I lost all the totems that I found, so we're starting from scratch. I'd give you some ideas about where to start looking." You nod. "Then let's get going." Let's find out some more about Mac. Mac Mara Johnson. Mac joined her sister on an adventure to the Pacific Islands in search of a promising new job. Mac's parents hated that her sister called her Mac. She was Mara to everyone else, but to Mac it represented the close bond the two shared. Near the end of the journey, a furious storm destroyed their little passenger ship and left Mac clinging to a crate of whiskey. By morning, she found herself on a forested island alone. It wasn't long before she realized she wasn't in the Pacific. She's lived for 15 years in the wandering sea and long given up searching for her sister. Now she just wants to return to Atlanta. So here is our ship, and there is our ship there as well. We've all managed to get back on board it. We get to restore all our health and all our fatigue. We gain 3 coins, 1 grain, and we have some starting cards. So Gloria Walker, our purser, she's joining us on board here, and she got ability to draw 2 ability cards. We've got some gear. We've got some flapjacks. And we got some soup. So we have recipes for soup and flapjacks on board the Manticore. We also gain 2 quests. Raids on Last Hope. Mac told us a rumor about rat creatures attacking a fishing village northeast of the Zakura trading post. The village may not survive the attacks much longer and needs urgent help. And Anne's cottage. Mac is on her way to search the cottage of an old treasure hunter named Anne. Perhaps something there will help us get home. The cottage is near a bridge north of Zakura trading post. So Zakura trading post is down there, and that looks like the village over there. So Last Hope. There's the bridge. That's Anne cottage there. So I think maybe we have to search 34 to get that. We have our event deck set up there, and each player, there's only 1 player, so I get 1 command token, and I also get an ability card. Rage. This crew member may place damage diagonally but may not participate in challenges. Ooh. Well, it's good to have. So we're going to carry on through the walkthrough now of this. Now, normally you'd be swapping kind of players' turns, but there's only one of me. So I am the captain, the forever captain. So I get to do a ship action first. And the ship action they've asked me to go for is the deck. So I'm going to wander over to the deck. And I get to draw search tokens now. So I can draw up to 3. So the first one, so I get to have, I could have 2 grain or 2 wood. I'm going to go for wood. That might be useful. Or if I get grain, though, I've got enough to make flapjacks. So do you know what? I'm going to get 2 grain. Deal with it, punks. And I could carry on if I wanted to, though. I wouldn't have to take that. I could carry on, but you can get damage to your ship. And at this point, yeah, I'm just going to carry on. Now I draw an event card. So our first event is a giant catfish. Catch it, strength 5, fail 2 ship damage, succeed, gain 1 meat. So a massive catfish slaps the side of the ship. Okay, so we're going to get our fisherman, Laurent, and we'll get Captain Odessa. Let's see how we do. Yeah, so that's 6 in total. So yeah, we managed to do that. So we gain 1 meat. So we've done the ship action, we've done the event. Now we get 2 actions down here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to explore. So we're going to 2. And you've got a huge book here of loads of things going on. So let's find out what 2 is. Sea foam winds through a maze of mossy rocks on the cave floor. They brush the heel of a smiling skeleton which sits reclined against an old iron door, blood red with rust. Okay, so you find a skeleton against an iron door at the back of a cave. We can search the skeleton, we can open the door, but we don't have the keyword iron, so we can't do it, but we can leave. So we're going to search the skeleton. A bag falls slack from the skeleton's fingers. You expect to collect it easy, but a snake with a milk pink mouth hisses out and fastens to your hand. You whip it by the tail against the wet wall of the cave. -1 health. So who's that going to be? Well, Kanan. He feels like the type of guy who'd touch a skeleton. Gain 4 coins, 1 venom, and then we gain quest 155. Imagine this would be like find a cure, right? Snake attack. A snake attacked us as we took a bag of treasure from a skeleton. So this has got a keyword of pink, so this might come up later on. Now we return to the ship. So that was our first action, was to explore. So our second action, we're going to travel. So we draw a card from here. We've got a 5, which means we can move up to 2 spaces. And the walkthrough tells us just to move 1 space, so we're just going to chug over into this area. It'd then be the next player's turn, but you know, there's only one of me here. So they ask us to go to the galley next, so we're going to go down to the galley. Oh, and I did forget to do something. So going to the deck, I should have gained 2 command points from doing that little thing here. And down here, I'm going to gain 2 of these command points, so I now have 5. I get to draw an ability card. So I have Faint. Gain 1 fatigue and discard this equipped card to gain 3 blocking. That's pretty cool too. So these I can actually equip to people, which is pretty good. And I can discard an ability card from my hand to remove a fatigue from any crew member. So do you know what? Yeah, I'm going to actually discard this one, the 6, because I think it's actually better in the deck. And we'll get rid of Sophia's. Yeah, fatigue there. And we have an event. Zogmin Traders, a ship with a green patch sail approaches. We can trade up to 2 food for any type, or raid their ship, gain 1 low morale and 1 grain, or bid farewell. We're just going to say goodbye to them. Farewell. Okay, and now we get to do 2 actions. So because we're currently in a market area, they suggest we go for the market. So What we do is we're going to be drawing the top 7 cards from the market deck. A shield, some binoculars, an Alzarian cookbook, Lucran steam engine, stew recipe, pan bow, and Wayfarer's gear. So I can get as many of those things as I like. I've got 2, 4, 6, 7 coins. Okay, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to spend all my money. So I'm spending 2 of these. I'm grabbing the pan shield. I'm spending 2 of these to grab the Alzarian cookbook. And then I've got 3 left to get the stew. So then we're going to try and head up here with our travel action. For our second thing, we'll do a travel action. So let's see. So we got a 2, so that means we move 1 space. Now we've got a hazard here, which means we have to pass a strength 5. Let's get Raphael and Odessa working together. 3. So we take 1 ship damage. So we go to number 2, so the deck takes 1 damage. So you have to figure out a way to repair there. And he should have taken an additional damage because of that. How do we get rid of Venom? That's the question. We did a market and we did a travel, and I'm going to spend 2 command points here to remove this Venom. So it's the next player's turn, aka my turn. So we're back up here. So we've got to choose what to do in over here. So I feel like we should go to sick bay to try and help out good old Kanan before he goes under. So we're going to go to the sick bay. And we're out on the walkthrough now, so I'm on completely new waters. So we're going to get 3 command cubes. So we draw an ability card, and we've got engage, gain 1 command when you explore. It cost me 2 to equip that to somebody. We also get a heal 1 hit point, so we'll do that. And we may as well spend some of this command as well. So we're going to spend 1 command on our recipe book. And that's going to let us craft some flapjacks. And we only need 2 of the grain to do this. That lets us remove 3 fatigue and 3 health. Nice. I didn't have to spend a command point on that as well, because you don't have to do that for using the book. And you can do this at any point, which is pretty good. Okay, so I've just done that. We're drawing an event now. Abandoned Raft. Search at Perception 5. Fail 1 ship damage, gain 1 grain if we do it. So we're going to get... let's get Mac and Laurent. So that's 6 in total. Put it in the right place, Adam. 6 in total. So yeah, we gain 1 grain. Got enough for flapjacks again, guys. Now our 2 actions. So we're going to explore as our first action, and we're going to explore 63. Last Hope. If keyword raid, which we do have, we turn to 56. You spot a village on the coast, a small settlement nestled against a pine forest. Smoke billows from the roofs of a few of the huts, and the wind carries with it a faint scream. These forests are infested with rat creatures, says Mac. Watch from the safety of the ship or land at the town's pier. We're going to land at the town's pier. Rats the size of humans, their fur slick and oily, run among the village huts wielding savage tools. Some of the villagers fight the rats with wood axes, while more rat creatures prance with glee near the village edge, lighting straw roofs with torches. So we can hurry to put out the fires, strength 7, or we can fight the rats in the village square, or we can loot what we can in the chaos. We're going to try and put out the fires. Now, we're going to need a couple of people to help with this. So it's a strength test. So we're going to get these 3 to do that. Wish me luck. That's exactly 7. You put out the fire and chase the torch-bearing rats into the forest. A wearied man in a bloodstained toga seeks you out. You arrived just in time, though I wish you'd helped us in the square. The houses you saved were empty. Ah well, you saved them and we thank you. My brother took a stab wound to the shoulder. It might have been averted, but you did your best, I'm sure. Okay, maybe we should have fought off. I was trying to save more people. We got 2 coins for that. And 1 grain. Complete quest 1. Ba-ba-da-ba. Lost Hope is now liberated. In future actions, you may explore location 63 to visit the village and talk to the townspeople. Return to the ship. Okay, well, so we've only really got one of the kind of place to go quest-wise, which is over here. So we could travel for our next one, unless we can explore twice on a round, on a go. Yeah, we can choose the same action twice. So yeah, we're going to explore. So we're going to explore Last Hope now that it's liberated. The edge of the village rests well within the tall trees of the forest. The towering pines might have given it a sense of protection if not for the recent rat creature attack. We can explore the edge of the forest. We can eat at the fish house. We can visit Mikra's temple. Let's go and eat at the fish house. So we're gonna pay 1 coin for the privilege. So you must try this gumbo, says the cook with a grin. It's my own recipe. I'll share it with you though if it's not too spicy for you. Restore 2 health. Gain adventure card 1. Spicy gumbo. Oh, we didn't lose any health. That's a shame. So we've got spicy gumbo. Man, we're going to be quite the chefs at the end of all this. If we make it back to civilization, maybe I could go into the cook trade. Open up my own restaurant for all the fun stuff I got. Obviously, the flapjacks will be our speciality. Okay, so we can visit Mikra's temple at this point. So yeah, let's throw some meat into the pot and let's see if what happens at Mikra's temple. A woman with long braided hair teaches you how to make a tea offering using honey and flower petals. This will help you enter an ancient shrine to Valard on the island to the west, she says, though few return from that place. Gain quest 16. Tea offering. At a temple in Last Hope, we learned how to make an offering that will open a nearby shrine in the red rocks to the west. Well, there's some red rocks there. So yeah, we've got a bit of a quest there. So some red rocks over there. And we have 2 options now. We can explore the edge of the forest or we can leave. I think we're going to go to the edge of the forest. If keyword abysmal maneuver, we go somewhere else, but we don't. You find a hut in the middle of the forest. A withered man greets you. Hello, I am Olim, he says with a weary smile. You're those sailors from the raids. Thank you for what you did. Those demon rats have lived in the forest for years, but when they openly attacked our village, we were not prepared to defend ourselves. But I have another problem. My son went looking for pearls weeks ago and hasn't returned. I know where he went. A huge cave in a rocky island just south of the peninsula. A dangerous place where demons dwell. My son is greedy and I could not stop him. I fear he's already dead. Please, I feel you're the only chance he has now. Gain quest 4. Oh, bleeding heartstrings here. So, rescue Olim's son. Met a man named Olim in Last Hope. His son has gone searching for pearls in a cave south of the peninsula. Okay. Right, well that was everything we got there. So now we can return to the ship. And that's where we're going to leave it. Well, that was our very first session. I really enjoyed that. I'm looking forward to seeing where this kind of story goes. I like a narrative adventure, so this is right up my alley. If you want to see how I get on with this and stay tuned to the channel, make sure you like and subscribe. And you can find us on various different social medias like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. Until next time, guys, stay safe or die rolling.